And we're back with part 2. Yes, we're back with part 2 of ranking all of the opening episodes of every season of Doctor Who. And I admit, if you've not seen part 1, you might want to, but you can always ignore part 1, and we can start right off where we left off. And we left off at number 28, so now we're going to go to number 27. Number 27 we have from the first episode of The Trial of a Time Lord, which is the last season of the Sixth Doctor's era, The Mysterious Planet. While The Trial of a Time Lord was released as one long season, it was cut up in certain segments to 4 parts. So I can say The Mysterious Planet is the first episode, written by Robert Holmes. The Mysterious Planet is number 27 because that's where it has the right to be. It's not a terrible episode. It's not. It has a lot of really good moments to it. Has a very good speech from the Sixth Doctor. Very good concept. Idea of Ravelox and yes, Sabalam Glitz and his friend, who they're very entertaining characters. It's just that it's never going to be the best story either. It's like a very perfectly fine story. It's right there in the middle of being very good, but not that exceptional in any way, shape, or form. That's why it is where it is. If you know the episode The Mysterious Planet, you know what I'm talking about. But what will always hold over for me is that opening shot of the head council of Gallifrey, that spaceship. It looked amazing. Though there's a possibility that all of the budget, or a lot of the budget, went into that one shot of the spaceship, because you see very soon how much the budget is not that high in other places. There we go. But still, I love that opening part of The Mysterious Planet so much. That's just like, whoa, wow. Okay, now we're at number 26. And yes, those of you who did not see part 1, yes, I'm reading off the paper because there are too many episodes for me to know this by heart. Okay, now we have at number 26. From the 10th Doctor's final season, Partners in Crime. Now, Partners in Crime introduces Donna Noble as the new companion. Now, Partners in Crime, I know some people who absolutely love this. This is in their top 10 favorite episodes list. Me, Partners in Crime, I saw it, I enjoyed it, I had a fun time with it, but for some reason, I don't have the impulse to go back and rewatch it very often. Like, I enjoy it, but it's just not as rewatchable to me as other episodes are. And that's just where it falls. That's just how some episodes rub you. You're not against them, but you don't go back and rewatch them as often as you would rewatch other stories. That's where it is. I do enjoy the dynamic of the 10th Doctor with Donna Noble in it, though, in that first episode, a great deal. I admit I'm not crazy about the idea of Rose Tyler coming back, especially so soon, right at the end of the first episode of the new companion. It's like, oh God, really? You couldn't wait one episode of this new companion? You couldn't wait till the second episode? No. Could not wait one bit. Ah, crapola. But again, it's, so Partners in Crime, I do see the love for it. I very much do. Just simply don't go back and rewatch it as often as I thought I would have. That's where it is. Now we have as number 25. Oh, a scandalous one because I have it so high. The Dominators. Yes, how can I like this pile of crap? I just do. From the 2nd Doctor's last season, we have the Dominators. So, before this, in the last episode of the previous season, we had the Wheel in Space, where we got Zoe as a companion. Now we have her as the full-time companion with Jamie and the Doctor. And that's my main excuse. For some reason, no matter what story it is, if the 2nd Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe are together, I'm going to have a fun time. And that's the thing about the Dominators. I have a fun time. I enjoy the idea of Dalkus, the idea of a planet that is so peaceful they can't defend themselves. That, to me, is cool. It's like, because it shows, hey, pacifism is a good idea, but if you can't ever defend your country and you don't have a military, that's not really as smart as you think it is. So here you are all about peace, but you gotta be able to defend yourself. So there's such a thing. There is pacifism has a downside to it, and it's showing, this episode shows how things are more complicated than how we want, where we should all be about peace in general. No, peace is great, but you gotta be able to protect yourselves, and you have to have a national security system for when attacks do happen. And with the Doctor at the very end blowing up the Dominator ship, it's showing how sometimes the Doctor understands he has to get his hands dirty. And the idea of Jamie, who has a simplistic mind, he's the one who's able to solve the problem, showing how sometimes just instinct, or not even, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room to be right. That just, I think, is a good story. I like it. Sorry, don't hate it. I know why some people think it sucks, but I'm perfectly fine with it. It's where it is. Now we have at number 24, The Arc of Infinity. Another scandalous one for being so high. With the first episode of the Fifth Doctor's second season. One, I love the way it looks. There's just something about the look of the Arc of Infinity. I just love the look of it. And I love the Doctor and Nyssa having a story where it's mostly just them by themselves. I think Nyssa is a great companion, and I love what she goes through to do this. And Omega, I see why some people do not like the idea of Omega being back. It's like, well, he was a villain from a super long time ago, but I'm not against it. I see why it's not, why you do not like it. I see why you're like, why did they bring Omega back? He was gone, and it's been many, many, many years. But I see why their impulse was to bring back Omega. But I do love the look of it, the direction of it, the acting behind it, and again, the idea of the Doctor and Nyssa being a TARDIS, couple or TARDIS team. I like seeing that one episode where it's mostly just them together. That's me. Now we have as number 23, a story that does not get enough love, I think. It's from the 12th Doctor's final season of Series 10, The Pilot. I think this is a very well directed, it looks great, it's well written, it's a very good way of introducing Bill Potts, played by Pearl McKee. I feel for her as a companion very quickly. I love the Doctor in it. The idea of the Doctor, the 12th Doctor, being a professor at university. Such a cool thing, and it really works with Peter Capaldi's Doctor and his acting style. So I'm sticking to it. I like it. But again, I love the direction a lot. The direction is really good. Now we have at number 22, one that might scandalize people for being so low. Number 22, we have from the 4th Doctor's first season, Robot. Overall, I'm fine with Robot. I have no problem with it. It's very good. And a lot of the ones that are higher than this one, I love the stories. There are only very few of the first episodes of this ranking of a season that I did not like. I like Robot. It's just simply not my favorite. That's all it is. Now, as number 21, we have from the first story of the 5th Doctor's era, Castrovalva. I like the idea of a Doctor whose adventure starts off, his very first adventure is breaking off, is the finishing arc of the previous crisis he had with the previous incarnation. A good handing the torch over from one incarnation to the next. That was a good way of doing it, because it forced people to still keep watching. It's like, hey, if you want to know how this situation resolves itself, you gotta watch the next Doctor. And with Nyssa, Tegan, and Adric, well, I love the idea of the hydrogen inrush, and the Doctor, his regeneration is failing, so he needs the zero room. I love all these ideas. I love the idea of Castrovalva being created by the Master to ensnare and entangle the Doctor. So fine, people do not like it, it's perfectly okay. I understand why, but I very much do enjoy it. Now, number 20, I believe from the 4th Doctor's 3rd season, we have Mask of Mandragora. Oh, wow. Mask of Mandragora is just painfully underrated. It really is. It's a great story. I love the Mandragora helix. I love the direction. Love how it looks. The cast is great. The villain is great. It just works all around. And the idea of the alternate TARDIS, control room, really cool to see that as well. Sarah Jane Smith and the 4th Doctor are always on top form, but they're even more on top form here. If you have not seen it, I suggest you do. The only thing I was not crazy about was the Doctor recovering too fast after all these people got killed. He laughs and claps his hands and says, "Yep, I saw the problem." I mean, yes, he's an alien, but it's like, whoa, too soon, Doctor, too soon. Wait a couple more minutes, then clap and like, yeah, this is awesome. That's all it is. But next we have up as number 19, Attack of the Cybermen, from the 6th Doctor's first season. If you're thinking his first episode of his official first season was the Twin Dilemma, no, it was not. It's still technically attached to the 5th Doctor's last season. Attack of the Cybermen is the official first episode of the Sixth Doctor's first season. And it is wonderful to me. I think it's massively overrated. It's one of my favorite Cybermen stories, but grant you it's not for everyone. There is blood in it. The Cybermen are vicious. But I like about it is the Doctor is wrong, but he realizes it, and it gets pointed out to him. Also, the idea of the TARDIS changing its shape, its chameleon circuits, he's working on them. Perry is wonderful. The dynamic between the Doctor and Perry is good in this. And again, at the end of the story, the Doctor acknowledges, oh my god, I was wrong. And because I was wrong, I got somebody killed. Holy crap. That is a character arc right there. Well done. Okay, now we have his number 18. Another one that's scandalous for being so high. The Fourth Doctor's, I believe it's his second to last season opener, Destiny of the Daleks. Guys, I love the Doctor and Romana in this so much. So very much, and I'm fine with the Movellans. I like the idea of the Movellans, them being at a logical impasse to the Daleks, and the Daleks wanting to go back and dig off Davros. I understand why some people are like, oh, that's anticlimactic, because Davros should have stayed gone in Genesis of the Daleks. Well, I like Davros as a villain, okay? I just do. Sorry. Just do. So it was perfectly fine seeing him back, conversing with the Doctor, and the Doctor teaching the Movellans about the fact that here's why you guys are not winning, because of the logical impasse. Cool with that too. So I get why people do not like this story, but overall I do enjoy a lot of aspects of it. I know some people think the idea of Romana changing her shape was comedic and therefore they don't like it. I thought it was very funny, and I enjoyed the idea of seeing her change her shape, and then until she finally settled on the face she settled on. Now we have as number, dear lord, that's 17? Yep, we're at 17, guys. Number 17, we have Deep Breath, for the 12th Doctor's first set episode of an opener. Deep Breath, okay, I know some people who love this story, some who hate this story. Both make sense. With Deep Breath, I think it is a very good introduction to the 12th Doctor. It shows you his personality very well. Some people get up in the air about the idea of the 11th Doctor and the phone call. You guys, I've got more important things to do with my time than be upset about the previous incarnation of a Doctor making a phone call to the companion, so that she can accept his next incarnation. I know some of you guys are like, oh, it was to appease the fangirls. You know what? Okay. Some of those people who say that, and this has happened to me, literally here on YouTube, where someone just hated the 11th Doctor for showing up again in Deep Breath, and his argument was, I crap you all not, his argument was, because that's never happened before, where a previous incarnation of a Doctor showed up in the first season of another Doctor. Guys, what is wrong with you if you have that thought? That did happen. It was called the first episode of the Sixth Doctor, where Patrick Troughton showed up for an entire story of the first season of the Sixth Doctor. The Second Doctor and the Sixth Doctor had a story together in the Two Doctors. But I'm sorry, if you can take a two-part story where a previous Doctor was in the first season of a new Doctor, you can take a phone call that lasted for about 2.5 minutes. You can. Dear God. Just move on. Oh, God. Move on. And again, for me, it captured the essence of what the 12th Doctor was going to be very soon. So, I mean, I admit, Series 10 12th Doctor is my favorite version of 12th Doctor, but it did a good job of giving you a distinct difference between this incarnation and the previous one. Okay, now we have as number 16, from the 3rd Doctor's, I believe his second season, Terra of the Autons. Yes, I said Terra of the Autons. I have a tendency to say Terra of the Utons. What can you do? Terra of the Autons, is it as good as the previous story featuring Autons? No, but is it still fun and enjoyable? Yes, it is. It introduces Jo Grant, and we see a woman who is trying to overcompensate for maybe not being the best choice to be with the 3rd Doctor, but she tries so hard, and she's played by Katie Manning, and she's wonderful, and I like her, and we also get the first introduction to the Master. All of that is in this, and the return of the Autons. Nope, I have fun with it. I just do. Oh, this is going to be another scandalous one for being so high. From the 10th Doctor's second season, the series opener, Smith and Jones. Guys, I freaking love Smith and Jones. I just do. I think it's a great introduction to Martha. And then the 10th Doctor, overall, they work really well with each other. I don't like at the very end where he, again, puts the rebound effect on her. But I think it's very well paced, very enjoyable. I have a fun time with it. I never get sick of it. I never do. So I'm sticking with it. I think it's very good. Love you, Martha Jones. I love 10 and Martha very much in this story. But again, before he puts the rebound thing, you know, the rebound identity on her. But outside of that, love this story from start to finish. I'm sticking to it. Next we have up as number 14. Maybe it might be scandalous for this ranking this one so high. But number 14, we have the very first story of ever Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child. Yes, I'm aware that part 2, 3, and 4 are not as good as part 1. Thank you. You're very witty for pointing that out. I am not overall that upset with the second, third, and fourth part. I know it's not as good as part 1, but An Unearthly Child, that was an incredible, incredible episode, and that is the show, this is the first episode that sparked Doctor Who into being Doctor Who, and we owe it everything for that. Now we have as number 13, The Ribus Operation, the first story of, I believe, the Key to Time series. I want to say it's a series, season 16, but I could be wrong with the numbers. And we get the introduction of so many incredible things. We get, again, the Key to Time. We have, I think, one of the first seasons that has the overall season arc at the very end where they're going to search for keys all throughout the season, and then it all comes together at the very end. But also we get Romana in this. Thank you. I like Romana 1 just like I like Romana 2. We have the 4th Doctor in this being awesome. We have the White Guardian. Yes, I love the idea of the White Guardian and the Black Guardian. So freaking cool. And the Ribus Operation, Robert Holmes did a good job giving you a whole different story. Excellent guest cast where you got the 2 con men, and then you've got the Graf Vindicate. Excellent villain. He was remarkable. And Ben Rowe. I love you, Ben Rowe. I love you, Ben Rowe. So, I love the Ribus Operation. I think that one is very underrated. It is. Next we have is number 12, Tomb of the Cybermen, the first story of the second Doctor's second season. Tomb of the Cybermen. I love it. It's excellent. I enjoy it very much. It's not my favorite Cybermen story, but I love it tremendously. Moving on. There's just not much to say about it. I love it. Second Doctor, Jamie, love you both. Love it tremendously. Now it's number 11. We have Battlefield. Yes, the, I believe, first episode of the 7 Doctors last season. Battlefield, I'm a girl who loves stuff on the Arthurian legend, so I'm going to eat this up, and I did. And Jean Marsh was fantastic as Morgan Le Fay, and the men in this, oh my god, the men. Woof, they were sexy. God damn. Okay, cool, moving on. And Ace, perfection, as always. So Battlefield, I freaking love this story so very much. Now with number 10, Power of the Daleks. Okay, yes, the second Doctor's very first episode that is missing. It got reanimated, and the animation was not that great because BBC did not give the animation team enough time. Sucks, but it's still an excellent story, a very good way to introduce a new Doctor. Next we have up is number 9, The Time Warrior. The first story of the 3rd Doctor's last season, written by Robert Holmes, featuring Sarah Jane Smith for the first time. She gives one of the best, new companion introductions ever, because she is so well done in this. But again, we get the Centaurans in this as well, and the 3rd Doctor is just wonderful. It's a good story. This is Robert Holmes at his absolute very best, and I love you, Brigadier. I always love you. You know I do. And then we got number 8. Impossible Astronaut, Day on the Moon. The 11th Doctor's very second season. This is a 2-parter. That is spellbinding. It is wonderful. Yes, I know that by the time we get to the end of the season, it's not as good as, the previous as the idea of the very beginning. Like, the very end is not satisfying as the very beginning of season 6 or series 6. Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Impossible Astronaut, Day on the Moon. It's a perfect story. And now we're hitting the end of this video. Sorry, there's a lot of entries. That's why this is taking so long. So guys, I'm gonna continue on with the next part of this very soon. And guys, I'll see you again very soon. I promise. I always promise. Bye, guys.